Recap on some developing news this hour. Police have revealed to Sky News they banned Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from Aston Villa due to significant levels of hooliganism in the fan base, jeopardising safety around the match, rather than threats to visiting Israelis. Our sports correspondent, Rob Harris, joins me now from Villa Park, and we talked about this a little earlier, Rob. What more are the police saying?
Well, this was the decision by West Midlands Police and Birmingham City Council Safety Advisory Group that really angered the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. He demanded that they overturn the ban on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, insisting there wasn't a notably violent element of the fan base. But police had only previously said that their decision was based on intelligence and past events. We now, for the first time, can reveal from the police that their concern was about hooliganism among Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, particularly relating to an incident in Amsterdam last year when the Israeli fans were also attacked themselves. But this is what Chief Superintendent Tom Joyce from West Midlands Police told me about why they banned Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, speaking about it for the first time.
I'm aware there's a lot of commentary around the threat to the fans being the reason for the decision. To be clear, that was not the primary driver. That was a consideration. We have intelligence and information that says that there is a section of Maccabi fans, not all Maccabi fans, but a section of them who engage in quite significant levels of hooliganism. What is probably quite unique in these circumstances is whereas often hooligans will clash with other hooligans and it will be contained within the football fan base. We've had examples where a section of Maccabi fans were targeting people not involved in football matches, and certainly we had an incident in Amsterdam last year which has informed some of our decision making. So it is exclusively a decision we made on the basis of the behaviour of a subsection of Maccabi fans, but all the reaction that could occur obviously form part of that as well.
You're effectively characterising them as amongst the worst in Europe.
I'm not characterising them amongst the worst in Europe. What I'm saying is there are football clubs that have a significant group of fans, who are ultras, if you like. The difference here, I guess, is that they didn't just confine it to other football fans. In the past, there have been clashes that have gone beyond that, and clearly, as you've alluded to, the sensitivities around the Middle East mean that the potential for that to kind of exacerbate current tensions is so much that we felt this was the most sensible way of managing the risk.
Is this a new precedent now that if there are groups of hooligans from visiting clubs, their fans will be banned from coming to Aston Villa or other clubs on your patch?
So it's always one of the options for us. I don't think it's a new precedent. I think there were matches in Europe, both in September and another one shortly in November, where fans have been banned from travelling by the local authorities, usually because of the similar concern around risks and disorder. So I don't think it's a precedent, but it's one we would use rarely, clearly.
Maccabi Tel Aviv are very concerned. They think their fans are being unfairly maligned. They were attacked in what have been called antisemitic attacks in Amsterdam last year. The only convictions in Amsterdam were for attacks by locals on their fans. But you formed a very different conclusion. Is that from the Dutch police, and does that mean there's something wrong with their investigation that led to the convictions only being for attacks on the Maccabi fans?
So obviously we engage with Dutch police and wider law enforcement agencies in helping to assess the risk. We also had our own intelligence feeds that were coming in the build-up to this match. We are absolutely not saying that in Amsterdam that the only fans causing trouble with Maccabi fans, but what we were very clearly told is that they played a part in causing trouble, particularly a day before the match. That absolutely resulted in the following day there being attacks on Maccabi fans, so it wasn't all one way. But that's the whole point, really, so that kind of escalating tensions, the escalating violence as a consequence, is what we were trying to prevent here in Birmingham.
How hard is it going to be to try to protect the entry of the team coach into the stadium?
I won't comment on the detailed plans, you'll understand, but we have a designated policing response to manage the access to the ground.
And is there particular extra resource inside the stadium to ensure the safety of the match goes ahead? Okay.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's a really significant increase in the number of resources. That's partly for managing the area immediately around the ground and then wider into the city centre of Birmingham, for managing the away team, but also for managing inside the ground.
What will your policy be towards protests outside the stadium, your threshold for intervening?
The threshold will be what it always is. So if people are protesting lawfully, peacefully, they have a right to do that, and we will facilitate it. If they cross the line and start behaving in a way that is criminal or becomes hate speech or something of that nature, then we will deal with them directly.
We've seen Zionists not welcome signs. Are they acceptable?
Our understanding is that they don't quite contravene hate crime. Whether they're acceptable is a matter of judgment.
Well, MPs from the Home Affairs Select Committee this week asked West Midlands Police to explain the decision to ban Israeli fans. You've heard it now from the police chief setting out that they believe the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans would have been a threat to this community around Villa Park. It is a decision that pitted West Midlands Police against the government. So concerned were they that effectively Birmingham was being turned into a no-go zone for Israeli fans, and concerned, particularly in light of rising anti-Semitism in Britain, that this was feeding into that. The area around Aston Villa does have a large Muslim population. They're very pro-Palestinian, and we are seeing many protests now here outside the ground, some calling for Israeli clubs to be banned completely from European football. That hasn't happened. We haven't seen notable pro-Israeli demonstrations. There was a fear, certainly amongst Maccabi Tel Aviv sections, that some could potentially hijack these protests. They did fear Tommy Robinson could bring a group of activists down here. He was seen in a Maccabi Tel Aviv shirt the other week, but they're very much distanced themselves from that. I interviewed the Maccabi Tel Aviv chief executive yesterday. He did express concern about what he said were falsehoods being perpetrated about their fan base, and the fact that they are tackling the racist element. He said many clubs do have such violent parts of their fan base, and they do believe there's a long road to go to tackle that. But he insisted that this complete ban on their fans was unfair. And what we've really seen around this Europa League matches, it's become an extension of concerns about the war in Gaza. So many believing, because of the war, the deaths in Gaza, that Israeli clubs should be banned from Europe. Israel insists, of course, it does have a right to defend itself since the October 7th attacks. But now police here, more than 700 officers from around the country brought in to try to ensure that this match goes ahead safely.